Hey you guys, I am Dany and this is Beauty Manifested. I've been wanting to do a little astrology chit chat for a while now, and I decided that today is the day. I also thought about writing up like a little script, but I got lazy and I decided against it. So I'm gonna start by talking about my own personal astrology chart, and then in future episodes, I will talk about different charts that I have personally experienced, and then we'll just go from there. So, a little bit about me is I am a Virgo sun sign. Other Virgos in my life, my mother has a Virgo moon sign. I have dated multiple Virgo Venuses. I also dated a Virgo ascendant. I also dated another Virgo. And I also dated a Virgo moon. I definitely love a Virgo placement man. Probably the Virgo sun sign was my favorite, but I definitely love a Virgo placement man. I haven't had a lot of Virgo friends. I did have one Virgo friend, but it got weird and it came to an abrupt ending. But one thing about that friend is we did used to have some really, really good conversations. So the reason that I have such good conversations with Virgos is because Virgo is ruled by Mercury and also the sixth house. Mercury is the planet of communication. It's also the fastest moving planet. I say that because it makes its rotation. I think it's the closest to the sun, and it makes its rotation around the sun the fastest. And so its qualities are attributed to like quick thinking, being quick-witted, quick on your feet, also kind of having like a nervous energy because like everything's kind of like fast and frazzled and stuff, as well as, yeah, those are like the main things. And then now the sixth house is connected to the digestive system, and so they say when Virgos are feeling especially nervous or anxious, it is common for them to have like bowel issues, like irritable bowels, and that's like a symptom of like nervousness or misalignment. So if you are a Virgo or you have a lot of Virgo placements and you're having like consistent issues in your bowel movements, definitely reevaluate your life because I'm sure that something must be out of alignment. What else about Virgos? So I am a Virgo sun sign. So Virgo is my action, but I actually have a Virgo stellium. A Virgo stellium is when you have at least 3 Virgo placements. I have a Virgo sun, I have a Virgo Chiron, and I have a Virgo Mercury. And what does it mean? I think they call it conjunct when 2 signs are the same. So I think that my sun is conjunct Mercury. But basically, since my sun and my Mercury are the same, they have like a positive relationship and they work together because they're the same, right? And so naturally, my identity and the way that I express myself, and the way that I communicate, like the way that I outwardly express myself and the way that I communicate, they're in alignment. They're the same. They don't have any conflictions. There's like, it makes sense. And so like I would say, like, if you look at me and then you hear me speak, there would be no surprises. I look exactly like I sound. It makes sense. And that also kind of shows my Mercury in Virgo, or my Virgo in Mercury is kind of telling of the fact that I like to talk a lot. I can talk to anyone. I feel very comfortable talking. I can come on YouTube and talk for a long time. I don't necessarily have to write a script. I can just talk and talk and talk. Like, that's my thing. Communications. Okay, so one thing that they say about Virgo that I don't necessarily agree with, they say that Virgos are like control freaks, perfectionists, neat freaks, germaphobes, like just like very anal perfectionist people, like very just like uptight. Like I think that they say Sheldon from, what's that show? You guys know Sheldon. What is the name of that show? You guys know Sheldon. Beyond Gravity, the Earth, Venus. Shoot. I can't even look it up because I'm using my phone to record. Anyways, you guys know Sheldon. I cannot think of the name of the show for the life of me. Hopefully it'll come to me. But anyway, they say that he's a Virgo. And everyone's seen that show. They say he's a Virgo. He's like pretty much, he's like autistic. He's like super duper anal in particular. Obviously, Sheldon would be the most extreme possible example, but Beyonce's also a Virgo. Is and Michael Jackson's also a Virgo. And you know how like they were very particular about their art form? So now I will say I don't like it when they make it seem like Virgos are just like super anal type A people, just like that's like their personality. I don't think that's it. I think that they're just passionate about what they do. So me personally, I would consider myself pretty laid back in most areas. Like if it's something that, okay, so let's pretend I was Beyonce, right? Because I don't want to have to use my real life example. Let's pretend I'm Beyonce, right? I love music. I love my art form. I love performing. Like, this is my work. This is my reputation. This is everything. Obviously, I'm going to be very anal about that. Like, duh. Because it's my art. And, like, it's not even perfect. It's just, like, it has to be the way that I want it to be because it's my art. It's my reputation. Like, this is me. So I'm going to be very controlling in that. But in every other area of life, and maybe in my parenting, I might be a little anal in the way that I parent my kids, as in, like, we're not going to use a lot of babysitters, and if we do, I'm going to have like a long list of the way I want things to go. I'm going to have a lot of conversations with my kids so they kind of know our family values and things like that. Like, people are not going to talk to my kids any type of way because I have a certain type of upbringing that I've envisioned for my kids, and I take this very seriously, and it's going to be done well. Okay? But if it comes to like cooking, if that's not my art form, I'm going to let the artist do their job, because just the way that I expect people to respect me and my art, I'm going to respect them and their art. And I can be really laid back about that. Like, in most things, like if it's not my thing, whatever happens, happens. Like travel, I don't really get antsy about it. Deadlines, I don't get antsy about it. Like, I'm very laid back. But if it's something that I am particular about, then I'm going to be particular about it. And I'm not necessarily hard to deal with. I just think, me personally, I just like avoid even having to deal with a lot of people. Because I know if I want things done a certain type of way, there's no back and forth, there's no compromise, there's none of that. Like, there's none of that. That reminds me, I just had a conversation with this man the other day, and he was like trying to, so I made a decision that I didn't want him to follow me on Instagram anymore, and so I blocked him. Duh. And then he was trying to go back and forth with me about it. It's no back and forth. I've already made the decision. Like, we're not, if I needed your help on the decision, then I would have called you before making the decision so that we could come to a decision together. And because I didn't include you in the decision, it's because it wasn't your decision. Duh. And that's just like a small example. Like, I'm not always a team player. I'm really not a team player. So it's either I'm in charge or you're in charge. But someone's going to be in charge. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone has to be in charge. I don't like group discussion. I don't like democracy. I do not like democracy. I don't feel like everyone needs to have a say. It's either you're going to be in charge and I will just do what you want to do. Especially if it's like something, if it's your thing, like say a man is going to like take you to a party or he's taking you somewhere. Like, whatever he wants to do, we can just do that. Like, it's no big deal. I already agreed to be here. Like, let's just do it. But if I'm in charge and you agreed to come somewhere with me, or you asked me what I want to do, then I'm in charge and you're going to do what I want to do. We're not going to do a whole bunch of, what do you think? No, what do you think? No. And I feel like that's very Virgo with me. Like, I'm a super Virgo. But I'm not, like, my room isn't always clean. I'm not super anal about that. But I hate for people to touch my stuff, because even though it's not always clean and perfect, I don't mind my mess, but I definitely mind other people's mess. Like, I have an office right now, and for the past couple months, I've been sharing my office space with someone else, a man specifically. And it really pisses me off having him in my office. I hate how he leaves stacks of paper. I hate how he fills up the trash can. I just hate it. And it's not like I don't do stacks of paper sometimes. And it's not like I don't use the trash can. But it's like having him there in my space just makes me sick to my stomach. So there's that. And then also another thing that Virgos get, and I'm a Virgo, like I am fully externally Virgo. On the inside, I feel different. I feel like a Leo on the inside. But externally, I am fully Virgo. I communicate like a Virgo. And how that looks, they say Virgos can be like dry, overly honest, speaking their mind too much, way too opinionated, way too critical in those things. And I definitely feel like I can come across that way. Like sometimes my words cut like knives, and not in the sense like I'm hurting people's feelings. Not like that. I'm not a harsh person, but like my tone can be very sharp, sharp like a knife. Like, I don't know if that's because I'm from Detroit. I don't know what, but like I want to be able to say what it is. Like, do that. Don't do that. I like this. I don't like this. And I just break things down really simple and easy. Like, I'm not really like a big, it's like, for example, if I had a Leo Mercury, I feel like I'd be more theatrical in my speech. So, like, say I want something, then I'm gonna like paint this beautiful picture and make it really sexy and make it really like this. For me, like, say I'm asking for money from a man or something, I literally want to be able to say, I want this, buy it for me. Like, that's the Virgo in me. Like, I don't want to have to sugarcoat. I don't want to have to put on a whole show. I want to just say what it is and then get it done. Like, there's no emotions involved. There's no theatrics. There's like, this is what it is. Do it. And I feel like that's very Virgo of me. Like, just make it make sense. That's a very Virgo phrase. I don't know who coined that, but I bet it was a Virgo. Like, just make it make sense. Like, Virgo is an earth sign. We're super duper grounded in reality. Like, this is what it is. This is how I want it to be. Like, is it going to be that way or what? Like, hello. Make it make sense. Yeah, those are just a few Virgo sayings. What else are Virgos known for? The nervous energy. So, I would say that astrology is very much the blueprint. And then I've done a lot of inner work in my life. I meditate, I have yoga practices. Oh, Virgo also rules like health and wellness. And Virgos are usually very health conscious. And all of the Virgos that I've known and dated, they are very health conscious. I think that's consistent across all Virgos because we're just conscientious people in general. We're very grounded in our bodies, in earth, and so it just comes natural for us to want to take care of our bodies because we're not just like up in space. We're here. We're observing ourselves. We're feeling everything. And so I think that just makes sense. So yes, definitely health-wise, like all the Virgos are on it. And then also I feel like I said, I've done a lot of inner work, and I feel like that strive that comes from the Virgo, like idealism, like I'm seeking perfection. Virgos are the queens and kings of self-improvement. Like, and I've noticed that in all the Virgos I know. Like this, every Virgo is the same. I swear. Like, I know a Virgo when I see one. I know a ton of Virgos. I literally know a Virgo when I see one. Like, just by the way they sit, just by the way they carry themselves, by the way they speak. Like, I know a Virgo when I see one because they're always the most beautiful, smartest, calm and collected person in the room. Calm and collected. But Virgos have a certain, like, an idealistic nature, and I desire the very best for myself, and I desire the very best from myself. And so I've naturally been inclined in my life to seek out personal development. I've always been into personal development. I've always been into self-improvement. Even as a young age, I would set goals. Like, if I saw something, I wanted something, I knew I could get it, and I would start moving towards it. Even like when I was little in first grade, I've never shared this before. I noticed that like there were like cool kids, like popular kids and stuff. And I'm sure like one of my cousins or something had told me like, oh, like those are the cool kids. And I had seen like the movies and stuff, like, And so I decided, like, I wanted to be that. Like, I wanted to be the it girl. And I literally bought a book at the school fair in, I think, first grade, called How to Be Popular. And I read the book and I applied the strategies, and I start reading other books. I used to read, I was so obnoxious. I'm excited to tell this story, actually. I was so obnoxious. So I read this series called The Click, right? Because I was trying to be an it girl. So I was doing all my research. So I heard about this series called The Click. The Click was amazing. I think the girl's name was Massey, and the other girl's name was like Claire and Massey. And Massey was like this super rich girl, and Claire was like the little peasant who moved to town. And it was all of this school drama, and it was just so scandalous. And they would like talk in the book. It was a book, so I had to say it in my head, but they're like, oh my gosh, like all this stuff. And I started talking like that because I thought that was what a cool girl would talk like. And so I developed this whole new personality. I developed this whole new way of speaking. Like, everything that I wanted to be, I became that. Literally, I embodied that. Like, this is my new personality. I'm an it girl now, and I did all the it girl things. I studied, I did it. That is the most Virgo thing in the world. And no one could have taught me that because I was like literally in first grade. Like, I was 6. I was 6 years old. And I knew how to put together a plan in order to transform myself. Like, I'm literally the queen of transformation. I was like, this is what's gonna happen. And by the time I got to like maybe like 9th or 10th grade, I actually ended up setting a new goal because I had already reached it. I was going to all the parties. I was going to all the football games. I had dated the like star basketball player. I had done everything that I wanted to do as the it girl. And then I started wanting like different things. And then I entered a goth phase. I don't know how Virgo that is. I don't know where I got that from. But yeah, then I entered the goth phase. Now, back to the nervous energy. When I was younger, I did have a lot of nervous energy. I used to be really anxious, really paranoid, and really insecure. But I think that as I've done my inner work and grown and just worked on myself, I think I've overcome that. And then I've also stepped into my higher self, which is my Jupiter. And I have my Jupiter, I think, in the 8th house. And I have a lot of positive Jupiter aspects, which is a planet of idealism, optimism, sometimes reckless optimism. And I think I embody that more than I embody the nervous energy of Virgo. If anything, sometimes I really overdo it. I have too much confidence in myself. Sometimes I spread myself too thin and I get in way over my head doing the absolute most. Like a Virgo sometimes at their low self, which is not where I'm at, but a low self Virgo, like they'll have, actually I met a man like this. I wouldn't know, he's a high functioning Virgo. He's a king, period. But he talked about like he would be less of a risk taker. And so basically, like the lower self of a Virgo can suffer from analysis paralysis, not wanting to move forward until everything is perfect, and kind of like just like delaying taking action because they're overthinking it in their head. I personally have overcome that, but that is something that Virgos have to be aware of. I think that this is all I want to say for this video because I don't want it to be too long, but shout out to all the Virgos. I hope the Virgos find this video, and I think instead of moving on to other signs, I just want to do like a full Virgo series because I love astrology. And one of my mentors says that astrology is about to get outdated and it's going out of style, so I want to make sure I hop on the bandwagon before it does. And I also want to say I've always been a YouTube girly. The first thing I used to use YouTube for was lyric videos. I used to watch all my favorite videos. And that's such a Virgo Mercury thing. Wait, that's such a Virgo Mercury thing. Okay, like a Pisces is gonna watch the music video. They do not care about the words. They can learn the words anyways. They're gonna watch the music video. They're gonna look at the cinematics. They're gonna look at the videography. They're gonna look at the costumes. They're gonna look at all this stuff. That's going to be like very Pisces. And that's going to be very Libra. Libra's going to watch and they want to look, how are they sexy? How are the outfits? Like they're going to be looking at that. A Virgo, straight to the lyric video. Straight to the lyric video. Like fuck all the nonsense. Cut through the bullshit. Like let me just see what they're saying. Let me just read it. Like that's the most Virgo Mercury thing ever. And this is such a fun series because I'm having so much fun talking about this, like because there's some stuff I didn't even realize, but I tell you, I'm the most Virgo there is ever. Virgos, please hop into the comments because I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Stay beautiful.